Hi, and welcome to this screencast all about travel. I'm going to give you a few travel tips that will make your next trip less stressful. So the first tip seems like an obvious one, but it is plan ahead. Of course, you have your tickets purchased, your hotel booked, transportation all set. But what I mean is to take a look at some guides and reviews of different places in the city or country location that you're traveling to, and try to make an idea of what you're going to do, what area you're going to be in, and really do your research on the place. Because sometimes when you read about a place or you just look at it on a map, you can paint a different picture in your head. So you definitely want to figure out how long does it take to get from one place to another, and kind of you don't have to stick to it, but make a general itinerary so you don't arrive at your destination with no clue what to do. So our next tip is give yourself time. So that is kind of similar to the one before where you want to give yourself enough time to get where you're going, but this one I mean more about when you are actually traveling. So there are many jokes about parents or dads getting to the airport a whole day ahead of the flight, and while that is a bit too much, I think it is important to give yourself enough time to settle in at the airport so you're not rushing and having to get all sweaty and tired as you're trying to get all the way across the airport because you didn't realize how big the terminals were. So definitely give yourself a couple hours so you can be as relaxed as possible going through security, because that is already a stressful situation. You want to have time to be able to put yourself back together, get any snacks, or go to the bathroom, get resettled, repack your bag before you get on the flight. So our next tip is to be prepared. So when I'm talking about being prepared, I mean when you're going to the airport, make sure that you have all the proper documentation, you have your passport, you have an ID, you have the right type of ID, you have your tickets. Sometimes you need to have the address for where you're staying and the information for your return flight to even get on the plane or get out of the airport when you arrive. So make sure you have the correct documents to be able to get where you're going easily. Also, going to the airport, if you're going on a long flight or not even long, make sure you have snacks or an empty water bottle. Food and drinks at the airport can be expensive, so if you can pack a few snacks, that will be helpful, and you won't have to wait in any lines, and you won't get hangry, which is not a good combination at the airport. Speaking of the airport, so my next suggestion is to download before you go. So this is especially important if you're going somewhere in another country, because you probably do not have cell service there, so you want to download maps. On Google Maps, you're able to star places and create a downloadable map, so then you will be able to use it even when you do not have cell service. And also for entertainment on your flight or your train ride or your bus ride, however you're traveling, download music, download audiobooks, movies, TV shows, ebooks. When you're in the air, you won't be able to download anything unless you pay extra for Wi-Fi. So just make sure you download the entertainment and the practical information that you might not have access to but would want while on your trip. And the last tip is to be flexible, and this is probably one of the most important things to remember. So you can plan ahead, you can be prepared, have everything set, but things might not go your way. Especially if you're traveling with other people, you just have to be flexible, go with the flow. You can have an idea of what you want to do, but if something comes up, you might want to change your mind. There might be a great opportunity in the middle of your trip to do something you hadn't thought of, and so just be safe, be smart, but be flexible and enjoy your trip. So I hope you found these tips helpful and you think of them the next time you are planning a trip, and they might help. And even the complicated things go a bit more smoothly. Traveling is such an incredible thing to learn about a new place and experience a new culture. So hopefully these will help you make the best of your experience.